What is up, my legends? It's your boy Adrian here, bringing you guys a Dayz review video here today. Also, we have quite a bit of news, but before we hop into today's video, just to let you guys know, to become an official lifted legend, what you have to do is you actually got to hit the noti bell and be sure to be subscribed, and you will be an official lifted legend. But let's go ahead and jump into today's video. So starting off with the news for today, we actually have quite some interesting news for Dayz and its Aussie gamers. I know probably some of you guys have heard that Australia has actually banned Dayz over in their country, which I think is crazy after the game has already been out 5 years, and they are just now actually deciding to ban the game because they actually want to release a physical version of the game across the world for everybody, which I think is a great idea. It's a bit late, but it's still a great idea. But what ended up happening was the ACB, which is the Australian classification board, which we don't actually have in the US. We have a ESRB rating system instead. But what ended up happening is they depict, express, or otherwise deal with matters of sex, drug misuse, or addiction, crime, cruelty, violence, or revolting, aberrant phenomenons in video games. Well, pretty much what they actually ended up doing was they ended up banning Dayz over in Australia just due to the fact that at one point Dayz included cannabis in the game. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, that's a cool feature. Like, that is a very cool feature, and I think it should still be a part of the game. Me personally, I would like to have that experience in the game for medicinal use, different stuff like that, because it is used medicinally across the world. But that's a whole nother video in itself. But it's not even actually a part of the game anymore. But that is the reason why the Australian classification board actually ended up banning it, and it won't have a physical release in Australia. And they're even currently working on getting rid of the digital version of the game, which I think is quite outlandish because cannabis isn't even featured in the game anymore. Now, whether it'll be coming back anytime soon, I don't know. At one point they actually did have it a part of the game. I have a few screenshots here just showing you guys what it actually looked like in game, but that was during the Arma 2/Dayz mod days. It wasn't actually the full game at that. This was around update like 0.58, somewhere during that time. That was ages ago. That's not even a part of the game anymore. I really think this is petty and very messed up for the Australian gamers that are out there. But that's all the news I currently have. It hasn't actually been officially banned completely as far as digital goes in Australia, but they are working on that. If I get more news on that, I will let you guys know. But now it's time for the review section of the video, which I know a lot of you guys are probably here for, and I just want to completely talk about my experience. I've played about 20 hours thus far since the update released. I've had the ups, downs, the goods, the bads, the uglies, the cutes, whatever you want to say. Like, I've had all of the experiences possible so far in this update, and I just want to go over some of the things that I've noticed, some of the things I like, dislike, stuff like that. But let's talk about the new deliveries first. With new deliveries, obviously they added in assault rifles and a marksman rifle. They added in the KA-74, the KA-101, and also the VSS. I really enjoy all three of the weapons, well, two of the weapons, because I've only got my hands on one. Well, I've only got my hands on two so far. I haven't got my hands on the VSS yet. Also, they added grenades. I really feel like the grenades run a lot smoother than what I expected them to, especially with the way the frame rate was prior to the update. I really do think grenades were a great add to the game. If you guys haven't got your hands on them already, I really do enjoy those, but they are kind of complicated to use a little bit. I feel like it's a bit much to use. They need to kind of tone it down to like one button instead of pressing multiple buttons just to actually trigger it. Well, to be able to throw the grenade, I feel like it's a bit much. Also, they added the NVGs, which are the night vision goggles. I really like the way the night vision goggles look, but as of right now, they're currently bugged for me in multiple different ways. I'm not even able to actually cut them on at all. Some people are reporting they are able to actually cut them on, but we're not able to actually move around with them on our head while attached to a helmet, which is something I feel like should be fixed in a hotfix. I don't feel like we should have to wait for 1.05 to even get here before we even think about updating those, because that was a big feature with this update that everybody was really looking forward to. Before they had even announced that the weapons were coming or the grenades were coming, everybody was looking forward to the night vision goggles so we could actually play at night, which leads me into another new delivery that they actually brought to the game, which is private servers. Private server idea, I really like the idea. Definitely pricey, but they actually run pretty smooth from the ones I have been in. I've only been in like 2 that were open to the public, but I actually really like the way they work. I just feel like they're a bit pricey, and we need to try and find like some mean line to it, or add an app to the PlayStation for it, or just have it to where we're actually able to buy the servers in game rather than going through a third-party site, because it can be a bit heck. And I know it's quite a few of you guys out there that probably do want to buy a private server, but it seems like a bit much because you actually have to go through your PC, which I completely agree on. Like they should have took the Battlefield 3 method with this as far as like the server pricing. I don't know what the deal is with that, but I do think that they could have decreased the price a bit, because even Battlefield 3 had rentable servers, but once again, that's an FPS, that's a whole nother dynamic. But even with Battlefield 3, one of the steps I feel like they did that Dayz could have taken was actually have it an app that was on the game, like actually on the system, like how Xbox has all sorts of different third-party apps that they can use, and I really feel like that should be a part of it, because going through a site seems a bit sketchy. I can't even lie. Even for me, like, I know it's not sketchy, but it looks sketchy, and I really think that would bring a lot of more people to buying servers, because it's only like about 80 or so private servers I've seen on PlayStation. That's for me. Let me know in the comments section, guys, how many you guys have seen, because I've only seen about 80 private servers on the PS4 so far. Also, they added in gun butting and bayoneting. I feel like those are great adds, but I feel like they use the same button, which is square, and I feel like the square button is really overused during this update, and it is causing real problems because we can't even quick drop anymore. That's one of my issues that I actually have. We actually can't quick drop. I get more into that later. Also, the zombies actually carry loot, which I actually like, because that gives you a chance to find book bags and food and different stuff on the go. Helmets, plate carriers, bullets, it's all sorts of stuff that these zombies actually drop in this update. So if you guys haven't already checked that out, definitely deal with that. Look more at them, because they actually look like players from a distance, but as you get closer up on them, you start to notice they are zombies. Now, as far as gameplay improvements go, we actually have about 5 gameplay improvements that I can actually say that I've noticed or that I've felt about the game. One being the better FPS and rendering. As far as big towns go, it still kind of sucks with the rendering to a certain extent. It does a lot better than what it did before. I remember it would completely just like stop at certain points when entering big cities. Now it's just like everything kind of loads in a bit slower than what it typically does. It looks ugly, but it keeps the movement like flowing. It's not pausing your game or like causing you to almost error code or the game just completely freezing. I haven't actually had the game completely freeze on me in this update yet, but I have had quite a few blue screens, which I kind of want to draw back on. I'm not sure what's actually causing the blue screens. It just randomly happens at times. I notice right before every blue screen that I have, it's like my sound completely tunes out, and then about 30 seconds later, I'm completely kicked off the game. Also, the gunfights feel quite a bit smoother. PvP action, I definitely feel is on the upside now. The PvP has always been fun, but I feel like it's a lot smoother, and it encourages a lot more people to actually PvP now, because I know a lot of people tried to run from the PvP at some points just due to how low the frame rate would actually drop. You wouldn't actually be able to control your recoil because the frame rate was actually so bad, but now the frame rate is a lot better, and it makes the gunfights feel a lot smoother. You're actually able to control your recoil as you guys have a full-on fight. It's not just like you shoot 2 or 3 bullets, game freezes, and then you can shoot shoot 2 or 3 more bullets and then somebody randomly dies, because I know that's how it used to be prior to the update. I actually got kind of tired of it, but I still enjoyed the PvP aspect just because it's a part of the game. I like the overall experience of the game, just the survival aspect itself, right along with the PvP. I feel like the PvP goes right along with the survival aspect, and they just both tie in hand in hand together. They also added in a throwing items ability, more or less. You're actually able to throw items now, but it is a bit wonky as far as like the amount of controls that you have to press for it, but it does work. But I have noticed that if you actually have like bad controller or a controller that has like stuck buttons, it does become a problem when trying to throw grenades and like open doors and stuff like that. But on to doors, guys. Now we're pulling a COD Modern Warfare with this one. Let's talk about doors for a second. We can actually break doors now. I'm really happy about this. It seems like something so minor, but it's something so much bigger than what it already is, because now that we're actually able to break doors, that means you're not obligated to have a lockpick anymore. If you are trying to get in locked buildings and whatnot, you can just sit there and actually break through the door by hand, sledgehammer. It just all depends. I've noticed by hand is a lot slower than if you had like a sledgehammer or an axe or something along those lines. It's really nice. Try that out. I noticed a lot of you guys actually haven't noticed that's a feature in the game now that came with this update. I actually really like it. Also, kind of bouncing back into smoother gunfights to go hand in hand with this next one is the great hit detection. Great hit detection is really noticeable in the gunfights. Not even just in the gunfights, you can just roam around and notice it like fighting zombies. The melee combat is a lot better, and the zombies don't seem as strong as what they once were, because I know at a point in time it was like it would take me like 8 to 10 shots to actually kill a zombie, like as far as hitting them with axe or anything of that nature. But now if I hit them with the axe, it's possible for me to even one-shot the zombies, because the hit detection is more on pace. Also, when you're swinging your punches, every hit actually lands now that's supposed to. It's not like every other hit. Like if you tried to 2-piece combo them in the update prior to this, like it would be like the first shot would hit, the second shot would miss, then like if you added in a third swing, the third swing would hit, and then the fourth would miss. So it was like every other swing would actually miss. But now that's somewhat fixed. I actually really like that. Those are all the gameplay improvements that I've actually noticed. Now on to the negatives, the things that I've really noticed, and quite a few of these are driving me crazy at the current moment. Let's start off with weapons disappearing. I don't know if this has happened to you guys yet. I'm not sure if it's like a server bug or it's actually a core gameplay issue or what it is, but I've noticed 2 of my weapons actually disappeared, which was the KA-74 and the M4A1. Now, prior to the weapons disappearing, nobody went in my inventory, nor did I actually drop my weapons. This is something that actually happened to me while I was streaming. I'll try and link the clip. Well, I'll try and link the stream with the clip somewhere in the description. If I don't, I'm sorry guys. But what ended up happening was I had out my KA and we were in a military base and I was preparing to shoot. I ended up changing my mind about shooting and I switched over to my sewing kit and I went to stitch up one of my wounds. Now when I go back in my inventory and I try and find my KA, I'm no longer actually able to find my KA. Also, it ended up happening to me with the M4 in a whole nother day. Like that wasn't even in a stream. That was a whole nother day. My M4 actually ended up disappearing while I was playing off stream. About the same thing. It wasn't me pulling out my sewing kit though. It was me pulling out my canteen. So I'm not sure exactly what triggers this, but I just want you guys to be aware that weapons are disappearing in the game. So definitely be careful on that. Another negative I have is the overly used controls. Your square button will be broken in this game. I thought my square button was jammed because I played too much 2K. It's because I play way too much DayZ. We have it to where our throwing animations are through the square button. You open up doors with the square button. So sometimes like if you're running away from zombies or another player, if you're like trying to hurry up and rush and open up a door, you'll end up sending yourself into the throwing animation, and dude, it's a pain to get out of. It's about 5 seconds to get out of, probably less than that, but you know, it feels longer because you're trying to run. Like you're trying trying to hurry up and get out of there, and it's like this animation kind of has you trapped, so it's a bit irritating. Also, we're not able to actually use square to quick drop anymore. I don't know if that was supposed to be a part of this update or what, but it's an issue that I definitely want to see addressed in the next update. And I feel not even in the next update, we need hot fixes, where the hot fixes need to be dropping, because not only that, we'll get into that later, but another negative that I actually have is gun glitch. It's a gun glitch where, like I said, I switched to a sewing kit, but even if you switch to like a melee weapon of some sort, I've noticed a whole nother issue where it's like, if you switch from your gun to a melee weapon and you swing on a zombie, even if it's 10 seconds before the zombie even gets to you, like if you're just freshly pulling out the weapon, and you know you get the complete animation through, when you go to swing, it makes a gunshot happen. You don't realize that an actual gunshot has happened, but from the zombie standpoint, the zombies take it as if you've just shot a weapon, and even people around you can hear as if you shot a weapon, but on your screen you haven't done a single thing. But for them, they can see the smoke and the fire from your weapon, and it still looks like you actually have your gun out, but you have a melee weapon out, which it attracts zombies and creates a whole nother issue in itself. That's part of the reason, well, that's the complete reason why it's in my negatives category. Also, one last negative, which is really big for me. Dupers are back. Now, duping isn't as great as what it once was, but I am noticing it in my servers. It's way harder to find weapons than what it was day one, and I'm 110% sure, because I've found through the grapevines the actual dupe glitch itself, which I don't even want to tell you guys about that, but it's an issue I already know about, and hopefully it's some sort of fix they come up with for it. I'm really scared about it because it seems like it's going to be pretty hard fixed, but the thing about that is it's not as easy to do as what it once was. It actually takes a little bit more time, and it's a little bit more luck that actually falls into play with it. So I'm happy it's not something we can just do offhand, like trying to, but I don't even want to explain how to do it. We're just gonna leave it at that, guys. But overall, I enjoyed the game. Even with its hiccups, I do feel as if the game itself is worth it, but we still need another update to actually fix this. At $50 right now, I actually do feel like it's a bit steep, just with some of the gameplay issues we have. Also, with the possibility of dupers being back, I'm even more afraid of that. But choosing servers plays a big role in this overall. So if you guys do want to go ahead and pick up the game now, even though it's $50, I would still say pick it up, but finding servers is a big thing. Making sure you choose the right servers, get a grasp for the server and know what loot's in the server, possibly make sure it's not really any dupers in there. Also, another way to counteract the duping I've came to the conclusion of is just go into a private server, dude. You and your buddies could pitch in on a private server. Me personally, I want to start up a private server of nothing but channel subs here, people that are here every single day that I know support the channel and want to be a part of the channel. I do want to start an overall server for you guys. I have more news on that at a little bit of a later time, because I'm trying to get it together myself, and I'm going to draw out all the things and let you guys know like what else will be included right along with the server, because it'll be a part of the channel membership. I'm trying to get the channel membership section together. I know I've had it for a while, and I do want to add more perks to being a channel membership. Well, being a channel member, more or less, not membership, a channel member, because I know a lot of you guys are definitely willing to be members, but I just haven't posted a lot. I haven't actually offered any goals for it or anything of that nature, so I'll definitely be getting back to you guys on that. But overall, I feel like the update, out of 10, I would give it a solid 7. I feel like what they added was definitely worth it, but it's stuff that still need to be fixed behind that. But if you guys did enjoy the video, definitely go ahead and hit that sub button. I do appreciate it. Also, hit that notification bell to go ahead and become an official Lifted Legend. Don't just be a legend, be a full-blooded Lifted Legend, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.